Welcome back, everyone. Happy Sunday. Hope everybody's having a great start to their day. Alice and I are out in the backyard food forest just enjoying the morning. Alice is next to a patch of yacon. Show them the yacon, honey.
This one, it grows. It's very healthy.
So that yacon we planted a couple years ago. We skipped the harvest last year just to allow the rhizomes to further proliferate and spread the patch out. And my understanding is that by not harvesting the yacon the first year, the actual tubers that you harvest actually get larger. In the past, I've always harvested first year around. I've got some pretty good sized tubers, you know, similar to sweet potato size. But we're going to give that a try and see what we end up with by leaving them in the ground a couple years. But we've got several patches of yacon throughout the food forest. Alice also just pointed out something. Did you want to share with them a little bit of your garden update? From before?
I just noticed it's a lot of turmeric growing. This one and this. And then all of those are turmeric.
So if you guys remember, much earlier in the year, Alice planted some ginger and turmeric in this area. Don't see any ginger coming up, but we've got quite a few turmeric plants popping up, which is amazing because this area really is dry. I always say this, but this area in particular has seen very, very little water.
Look. It's a lot of... Oh, my face!
Oh, sorry.
Look, honey. I didn't notice it's a lot. And over there it's hanging.
So you see we got kabocha squash vining throughout some of these plants. There's another couple kabochas there. The great thing about the kabocha squash is they store for a long period of time. So once you harvest, you can keep these guys on the counter for a month, 2 months or more before you actually prepare them. And so they're decorative during the time you leave them on the counter. And you know, you can save them for a later day when the weather starts to cool down. A lot of folks don't want to turn their stove or their oven on this time of year. I understand. Now check out this pussy willow. This was grown from a single stem cutting that was found in a flower arrangement about a year ago. And just amazing growth on this plant. It's a good 11 feet tall at least. And I was going to do a video just featuring this plant. I may do that in the future, but here's what I'll say about it today. Is there's many uses. One being that you can cut the tips of this plant, remove the leaves, and just take those little tips of each branch, let them just sit in a cup of water for 24 hours, remove the stems, and you got yourself a rooting hormone. Another thing is this plant is commonly used as an alternative natural source of medicine, making your own aspirin. And that's typically done by using the bark of the plant of a more mature specimen. But those are two really good reasons you might want to consider growing a pussy willow.
Honey, what is this like growing on the top of the leaves? See, like this. It's like a circle leaves.
Well, that's going to be the flowers eventually. So what ends up happening is the tree loses all of its leaves. It's deciduous. And then in the crook of each leaf, you see just right now, these small little buds forming. Those are going to become these little fluffy buds. And it just looks like sticks with these little puff balls on them. And they're often used in flower arrangements because of the way they look. But something that came to mind with this plant that I've never heard talked about was its ability to create copious amounts of organic material mulch for the garden because of just how fast it grows, how easy it grows. Somebody could easily take a shrub like this, plant several of these cuttings. Literally all you do to grow a new tree is take a cutting and stick it in some water. It'll begin to root. It roots extremely easy because it has rooting hormone in it. And you can plant those out and you can have a little forest of these pussy willows in no time at all, which you could then chop and drop as they are. You could run it through a wood chipper and create a lot of mulch. And you can also create shade zones, so upper canopy levels when you're establishing some younger plants that need a bit of shade up front.
It's time to harvest.
Goji berries. We've shared quite a few gojis with the birds this year. In part because of the size of the shrubs. I let them get very tall. The taller they are, the more likely the birds are gonna come around and hang out in them. Yeah.
One pick.
We still got plenty for ourselves. These make a great little snack. Down over in this corner, we've got what was a fava bean plant that is now dried. And we've got these great seeds here. A lot of these fava bean plants are volunteers, where we left the dried up plant just to lay where it be, and it planted some seeds. Here's an example here. You can see a few seeds just laying on the ground.
Yeah.
The pods will eventually split open like this.
And next year it will grow by itself again. You have to leave it like this one. You don't care, it will grow.
The leaves, the flowers, the small pods are edible. The beans are edible, and we prefer to harvest them while they're still soft. I made a wonderful fava bean chili on video for you guys in the past. You should check that out.
I have to look more over here because I know there is more fava beans in that area.
And in colder climates, you can start your seeds in the springtime after the ground is thawed.
It's starting to open and it's gonna get raw.
This variety is the Cuskin Super Yellow, extremely rare seed from Peru. I don't know if you can even find them anymore. I originally got them from Rare Seeds. They were brought back by the botanical explorer Joseph Simcox. And we started with just 5 seeds.
Put it Gabino in the video.
There's a small little bee.
Can you get me 2 more? Okay.
Let's see your little harvest.
My little harvest, but I'm so happy for this. It's so sweet.
I want to give you guys an update on the Violette de Bordeaux. This is a compact sized fig tree that only gets about 8 feet tall. And you can see we got a couple little figs on there, but what I'm excited about is the new growth towards the base of the plant coming out, because I want to keep this more as a shrub so that we can get a lot more fruiting wood. So this has been in the ground for 2 years now. And so it's a slow grower, but it's really starting to erupt with the new growth. Now, for those of you who've heard that you can't grow quality greens in the heat of the summer, well, you haven't tried the dino tree kale or the merit collards. These are all producing really nice leaves, nice plants, used for sautés, smoothies, juices. We've got an endless supply of greens. If you are interested in getting some seeds, they are available. I'll drop a link below the video. There are some new varieties I'll be offering sometime soon, so stay tuned for that as well. Check out these greens back here. These are dino tree kale seedlings, just some seed pods that had dropped to the ground. Got some nice large leaves on these 1-year-old plants. What are you going to do with these leaves, honey?
Have to steam.
You make a steam for your lunch? Alright everybody, we're going to wrap this video up. Thank you all for watching. Have yourself a great rest of your weekend. Until next time, this is Dan
And Alice.
from plantabundance.com.
Live forever.
Talk to you soon.